Alright, so you're probably wondering why I have the rear suspension out of my Corvette and why I have the wheels off and all that kind of stuff. So here's a story. The other night, driving around town, and then all of a sudden, pulling up to a stoplight, we hear a clunk. And then from then on, the rear end, we've heard a noise coming from the rear end. It'll click, 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 click every time we would. It got faster as the car would go. So let me go ahead and show you a little clip of what that sounds like. Alright, so now what I want to do is, since these bearings have never been rebuilt, and since the rear end has never been rebuilt, that till I know of, we need to go ahead and make sure the noise is actually coming from the trailing arm instead of the rear end, because it would make no sense to fix one when really the problem is with the other. So this is going to be a pain in the butt. Alright, let's get to it.
Alright, so here we have the unique rear suspension for this Corvette. So you have a pumpkin here, and you have a half shaft, and that goes into this trailing arm assembly right here. So what I want to do is disconnect this half shaft from the trailing arm so that I make sure that the clicking you heard is not a U-joint, which would be an easy fix, and to make sure that it's actually coming from the trailing arm, which would be a hard fix. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect it.
Alright, here's the half shaft. Here's a tire. Let's spin it and see what noise it makes. Alright, let's go the other way. So, good news. The tire doesn't make noise when you spin it without this in. So, what we need to do next is look at this half shaft and look at the U-joints, because it's possible it could be a U-joint that makes all that nasty noise. So if you turn it this way, and it moves fairly well. You turn these grease cups, it moves really good. Watch this, when you turn this one over, you move this way, but I can't. As hard as I try, I can't get that one to go. That will get it to go, so you slam it on the ground. So I think the real noise of that wasn't the trailing arm. I think it actually was this U-joint, which is toasty. So we're going to go ahead and take that out, look at it, see what the roller bearings look like, and then replace it. Alright, here's the half shaft, and after about 3 hours of soaking it in PB Blaster, guess what? It's still not any looser. It still doesn't really want to move at all. So we tried budging it with the vise. We tried a few hammers and sockets to get it out. But what I think I'm going to do this time is I'm going to try something different. My buddy recommended that we use a 50-50 mix of acetone and ATF, so that's what we're going to go ahead and do. We're going to go ahead and put it in these bags and then rubber band around it. Hopefully that will be enough. Well, I guess might be able to put it into a bucket, but I don't think that's such a good idea. I think it'll work better in the bag, so we'll go ahead and do that. So we got the U-joint in there soaking. So hope, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it around later when I get done. Hopefully that will be enough to get it a little bit more free than it was. So we'll let it sit for a day.